possibilities would be that both in terms of loyal voters and typically uncommitted voters, the enthusiasm to vote can be lower. But imagine the flip side. When there are more parties, each party tries to mobilize voters, and the experience is that whenever there are more parties in the contest, there is actually more voting. So we don't know how it will pan out in the elections. But I agree with you on this, that for an ordinary voter who reads the newspapers or watches the media, cynicism and an apathy resulting from that cynicism can creep in. The voters can become less ideologically driven and more personality driven, or the voters can be driven more by patronage. Which local leader patronizes me or my family or my community can become the most dominant factor. And that's why I have been saying that the challenge is not really what will happen to these politicians, but how it will affect the policies of the state. Whenever you have a dominant party, an attractive route for competitors is always to ape or imitate that ideological or dominant party and try to chip in and take away their votes. In terms of political styles also, you replicate them. So if you criticize Modi, you also have a number of Chota Modis everywhere in different states. That is how politics unfolds. And that is why I pointed out that the real challenge is not to imitate Modi, not to become another BJP, but to try and become a different party altogether, which is a challenge for any party, because in a dominant party system, this is not an easy proposition. When elections are around the corner, the lure of doing the same thing that the successful party does is always there. Majoritarian politics is very difficult to contest once it has become popular among the voters or citizens. In India, it is almost on the verge of becoming popular among the citizens. Though every voter of the BJP doesn't have to be a majoritarian voter, that approach is creeping in our minds gradually. So it is difficult. And therefore, the first route for non-majoritarian parties would be to look at non-majoritarian or a-majoritarian issues in politics and try to contest the ruling party on those issues. This is what most parties are currently doing. What they are talking about is economy. What they are talking about is unemployment, agriculture, because that is where they can convince the ordinary citizens very quickly that this party is of no use. I think they need to also adopt the second route, which is not an electoral route, but at the grassroots level, which is to strengthen at the grassroots our traditional coexistence and culture of coexistence. If they can do that, then perhaps these two together can be a bulwark against majoritarianism, which is not happening. For example, and since we discussed Maharashtra, the situation in Maharashtra over the last 1 year is worsening in terms of communal relations. Have you seen any opposition party consistently standing up and saying that this is something wrong which is happening in Maharashtra, and let our workers stand up in those cities and say that we will not let this happen? Whichever cities have experienced these communal conflagrations, we haven't seen the opposition parties coming together and saying that we will try and diffuse the situation. That has not happened very much. Nobody is saying we will protect the minorities. That risk-taking has probably disappeared from their overall political character. But my point would be that they need to do it. Otherwise, we go back to your question again. How do the voters distinguish between party A and party B?
From breaking news detailed analysis, in-depth interviews and explainers. Follow the Times of India. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like our videos and hit the bell icon to stay updated with the latest.